Guys, the NFL draft is less than 2 months away, which means it's time to rank some prospects. There are so many interior defensive linemen I went throughout, again, most of the early scouting process. But I'm only going to be ranking 10 of them because, I mean, those are the guys you're going to really want to know about. Anyway, though, we'll have some honorable mentions. Here is your 2025 NFL interior defensive lineman class. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fight NFL. Of course, please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the 2025 edition of the NFL Draft prospect ranking thing. Yeah, I'm going through a lot of different interior defensive linemen today, which are basically the big boys that are supposed to stop the run. Also, again, as the title does suggest, this is arguably the most strong, or is the strongest position in this entire draft. Not only with the depth, but also there's just a lot of things about it that I like, to be completely honest with you. But before we get into some like the logistics things that I'll probably go through in every single video, every single NFL draft prospect ranking video, because it is going to be very important for you guys. It is important to note that again, there are some honorable mentions that just really didn't make the cut, to be honest with you guys. All these guys should absolutely be at least decent NFL players if I had to guess, but they just weren't top 10 for me. And again, especially this position with it being pretty deep overall, these 5 guys, I am very confident. Again, if you draft them, they should be good players for you, again, depending on where they go. Nazir Stackhouse is definitely a run stuffing nose tackle, to be honest with you guys. Yes, his stats were not great. I mean, in terms of pass production, pass rush production, but I really don't care with him. I mean, the name suggests what he is. I mean, you can watch him on film all you want, but you can't really convince he's anything more than a really run stuffing nose tackle, which is what he should be able to do. So that's really, again, we're kind of veered off with him, but should be a very effective run stuffer, again, for any team he does, in fact, go to. All right, next guy we're going to go to is Jamar Caldwell. Yeah, there we go. I almost said Campbell because I've seen like 4 different Campbells. Guys say I'm doing a lot of DBs, and it's just getting annoying. Anyway, though, but Jamar Caldwell, he's the, I guess, like third fiddle. Not really, but I'd say last year he was probably the 4th best defensive lineman on Oregon, which, again, you might think that, yeah, that's probably, if you're the 4th best player at your position on their team, you probably shouldn't be getting drafted. But again, with it being Oregon, they were the best team in college football up until the Rose Bowl. And also, again, there's a young dude. What the heck's his last name? But I watched him on film. Like, that guy's a freaking beast. So in 2 drafts, he'll probably be there again. He was really the only freshman for Oregon's defense that really made impact. But Jamar Caldwell is the 3rd best guy there overall. Biggest issues that I found with him was the fact that, again, he just really isn't that effective. Again, there's some points. Again, he's a lot like Nazir Stackhouse, but he's definitely a safe option overall. Again, he's not gonna give him any gaping holes or anything. This just freaking crashed. But back to the point there. Jamari, where is he? Jamar Caldwell. Again, he's not too great, but I do like him as prospect. He's not really flawed in any sort of way. But again, if I was gonna go really in depth with him, there would definitely be some stuff that I pick on him for. Anyway, though, next up is, I don't know what to talk about Ty Robinson. I think we're going to pass on him. But Deone Walker at Kentucky, he's definitely explosive. He's definitely produced overall. Biggest issue, though, I just don't think he's consistent enough, especially on film with some of these other guys, what I've seen, like in terms of what they're able to do in terms of their highest potential. He also just really doesn't have that. He's a huge dude, don't get me wrong there. Like, decent athleticism as well. We had Deone Walker. There's a reason I didn't pick him, but he's definitely a good prospect. Ty Hamilton was a tough one. Again, I just think Tyleik Williams is better, which we'll get to in a minute. Again, we get to our actual, the guys we'll be ranking today. But he's definitely on the edge there. Again, I just don't think he's as good as him. I was going to pick one guy from Ohio State either way. It just didn't turn out to be him. Outside of that, though, I don't think there's anyone else to really talk about. I mean, yeah, I guess Derek Harmon, he's the other guy. I didn't pick him simply because I just don't think he's really developed enough, to be honest with you guys. But if you draft him, and again, you're able to do a little bit of a project thing with him, he should be a pretty solid player, similar to Brandon Dorless, who, again, the Falcons picked last year. And again, he had some production as a rookie, but we all know he'll be better in the future. Outside of that, though, I guess we could talk about Ty Robinson a little bit, but I'd rather not because, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of him, to be honest with you guys. But I think he'll be at least, again, the production was definitely there last year, but I mean, there's reasons for that. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Matt Rule really helped that defense last year. Again, there in Nebraska. But outside of that, though, guys, again, this is probably the most important part of the video for you guys. Again, we'll be going through this every single NFL draft prospect video, to be honest with you guys. But these are the rankings. I did kind of pull this from NFL.com, some of it. I mean, again, the 95, the 60 are not what NFL.com likes to do. But I do like to do this. This is, again, how I rank and how I value guys. But again, all these like sort of categories are pulled from NFL Network, and again, I kind of moved it around. But if you see a guy get a 95 plus grade, I would be shocked. I don't think anyone's even close to this. That's the perfect prospect. maybe there's 2 guys I've ever graded that have been in this range. 92 to 94.9 is perennial All-Pro. That's very, very hard to find as well. You might see 1 guy there. Probably not, though. Pro Bowl talent. These are the best players in the draft. I mean, again, they should be Pro Bowlers. Maybe not as a rookie, but pretty cool. 86 is 89. These are the guys that are going to be day 1 starters. Again, they could be so bad in camp and they're still going to start. Like, there's not a lot they can do to mess up. 82 to 86. I don't love this category, but I can understand it. It's boomer bust potential because, again, if you do have that high of a potential, you probably will find yourself ending up there. I will say, though, this could just be a really solid prospect as well. I don't want to get that too confused. That's definitely a tough category, but yes, the really high potential guys should end up there, again, hypothetically. 76 to 82 will be the guys who will, again, I guess be good in 2 years. I guess that's the way I put it. Basically, they'll be a pretty decent starter in 2 years. I mean, again, might not be too impactful as a rookie, but by the second year, they will be starting. They will be a productive player. 76 to 78, I guess we'll say. Again, this is kind of a weird range, but I do like this. Is more the average guy. Potentially a good starter at some point. I mean, they might never actually be like a good player, but at the very least, at some point. 75 to 79, this is a very, very, very short tier. It's painfully average, and that they'll be a jag. If you don't know what a jag is, I mean, I guess Steve Smith coined it, but it basically means you're just another guy. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want to be in this tier. That's why it's so small, but again, because I like to give hope for a lot of prospects because, I mean, there aren't many guys who are just going to say, yeah, that guy's going to be like whatever. But if you do end up in this range, there's a reason for it. 73 to 75, fringe starter. I don't know if they're really going to be there, but at the same time, they're going to be very impactful backups at times too, so they definitely have a shot at being a good player. 72 to 73, again, they have something that should at least be able to, again, be a decent backup where they should stay on, again, get some playing time at some points. 69, nice to 71. Again, yeah, they'll be riding the pine pony / special teamer. And this isn't always a bad thing, guys. Special teamers are very important. A lot of teams, you've seen this with some of these better teams in the league that have had special teams issues. That has been their demise at times. Packers 2021. But more important with that, yes, they will not be playing much. They probably will stiffen to a couple snaps a season. You probably won't see them that much. 66 to 68.99. Again, this is really, again, at this point, again, there's not going to be many guys that I'm going to be ranking the top 10 or how many ever prospects I decide to do for these for each position. But I would say maybe we have like 4 or 5 guys that I actually rank that, again, end up here. Again, are featured here. Tackling dummy / bottom part of the roster. I mean, again, basically just practice squads. And if you get a 60 to a 66, yeah, you're basically a priority undrafted free agent, which means the team will want you. Or you're just a straight up camp body, which I really don't want to have to. I hope I don't have to do that. But again, there are some guys that I have that I might end up actually having to talk about in some of these because, again, I got to talk about at least a minimum amount of guys, sort of a quota in some of these rankings. So, yes, there probably will be maybe 1 or 2 guys that I just call a camp body, which really sucks for them, but that's my evaluation of them. So, prove me wrong, I guess. I've been very wrong on some guys, been very right on some other guys. I would say I'm probably like 60% hit rate, which, again, isn't great, but, like, again, overall projection there. Anyway, let's get into our top 10, starting out with Walter Nolen, the number 1 overall recruit for the 2022 high school class.
Which play going to be paramount? They come with some pressure. Green, sacked, fumbled. Love that.
All right, guys, and the first prospect we will be getting into today, of course, is Walter Nolen. He is first of our 10 dudes, I guess is what we could say. He's definitely an interesting prospect in a lot of ways. Obviously, coming out of Ole Miss, he was the number 1 overall recruit in ESPN's recruiting site in 2022. Again, like I said earlier, he has done a lot of stuff in his career. First things I want to talk about, again, in terms of this overall range, again, I kind of hinted it before, but this is a fluid list. So, yes, the actual, like, the way the player grades out, like, I guess, like, number-wise, isn't really what they could be. Because, tell you right now, there's some guys that, again, when I evaluated them, their grade probably didn't get to maybe where, again, they probably could be. But, again, it's a fluid list. I'll give you where I think. This is more of, again, the number is basically a guide. It's not like, again, there could be a guy with an 89 that I think should be a perennial All-Pro no matter what. But these, if they're actually in this range there, for sure. Like, yeah, like, the numbers don't lie. Anyway, though, for Walter, he had 48 tackles, 6.5 sacks, kind of giving me his bio here. 2 batted passes. Some people say, I guess some team sources, I'm not going to act like this is the most credible thing in the world, but from what I've heard and what I know about this Walter football group, they do a very good job with this. I'm trying to just give you the bio here because I don't want to mess anything up. Anyway, Nolen, a back grade because he has a lot of bad tape. However, Nolen is a gifted athlete with a special skill set. I wouldn't say special. I'd say unique. And unique is special. I don't know. That's what I would call for that. Physical talent could cause him to go higher. Yes, he should be going pretty high. But Nolen needs a lot of development. I mean, obviously, some sources say he could go above first-round pick skill set. All right. Anyway, though, yes, his tape is very flawed. That is something I would like to hint at before. There's definitely not, I wouldn't say there's as many issues as many people might think with him, But at the same time, again, there's just so much good stuff I've seen. Again, I see like in terms of the flashes that I have to give him these grades because he honestly, I get the tape was very flawed. I'd say about 4 out of every 5 plays there was something that not good. But at the same time with Walter, guys, you got to realize there's a reason he was, the freaking best player in the country coming out of high school. Again, there's a reason for that. And yes, Ole Miss, especially their defensive line coach, had a lot to say about him in terms of him coming in, the fact that he has a lot of stuff to work on. It really didn't get that much better with it. Probably not. But let's start this thing out with strength. Guys, if you're not at least at 75 in terms of, I guess, the rating here for strength, you're probably not a very good zero tech, I guess is what you call it. Because, again, if you guys don't know what techniques are, it's 0 through 9I, whatever. It's complicated. But the point is, you start with the lowest number, which is 0, which, again, you're lined up straight on the center. That's 0 tech, and you go out to 9 tech, which is ridiculous. It's basically outside the tight end. But all you need to know is, think of an offensive line. 0 tech is is a start. Again, face up on the center, and then you go outside shoulders, all this stuff with the guards, the tackles. And then obviously out the tight ends we get the 9 tech, and there's like 4I, 5I. It's not like, again, fluid with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, that's good. Oh, that's not good. Anyway, though, his strength on film, physically he definitely has it, but again, game speed wise, he's not the strongest that guy in the world, but it's definitely above average. Again, he holds his own for sure. BVNS 74, he's not the biggest guy in the world. His overall stature isn't anything to write home about, but at the same time, I'm not going to act like he doesn't have something there, because he at least holds on a little bit. Handwork quickness is a 92. He is very, very good. That was bad. Explosion is a 92. Again, that's what we're talking about, that athleticism, that special skill set, I guess is what you call it with. Yes, on film, every single snap he is getting off the line a lot faster than a lot of other people are going to want to give him credit for. On film, very consistent with that. Probably the only one of the things he's consistent with there. Handwork quickness, 83. I think it's really good, to be honest with you guys. I do think he attacks pretty well. I don't really think this is really, again, a flashy sort of, grade here. I honestly just straight up, when I watched him, again, with this skill a lot, again, early on the tape, I'm like, yeah, he's got this down pretty good. Again, it's not really, the purpose might not be there, but he's very good, again, at getting up on the guards specifically, and being able to, again, rotate his hands well enough, and again, as well as the hesitation really isn't there. Handwork food, this is an 82. This is definitely more of a projected grade, to be honest with you guys, because yes, he is pretty choppy right now, if not in the 60s, but there's a lot of flashes. He's had some really, really, really good plays at times. Again, when he's able to combine that quickness, which is here right now, and then the fluidness, which I think will be there. So yes, this is more of a projection, but I think I got to give it to him, because I think if he goes to the right team, he should definitely be able to figure it out. Handwork effectiveness 72. I'm going to be honest, guys, it's kind of just average right now. Again, it's one of those traits that, again, really hasn't flashed out at me, and again, it is very inconsistent, but at the same time, I'll never think of him as a guy who will have violent hands. And guys, handwork effectiveness is very cut and dry. It's either you have it or you don't. Or, I guess in his case, I mean, if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. He still, again, is pretty effective overall with, again, the way he places his hands. But at the same time, again, when you cut down here, if it's not like, oh my God, he just freaking dismantled that guy, it's not going to be here. It's very hard to get here. Anyway, though, run defense resistance, I'm going to give him a 90. Yes, the leverage really sucks, but I do think when he is in the right spot, he is a really hard guy to beat. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. He does do a really good job at holding up, and again, he even penetrates sometimes when he is in the right spot. But now that I think about it, right now, to be honest, I kind of can't really ignore it, so I'm going to give him an 80 here. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I can't give him a 90 now that I really think about it, but I think there's definitely some potential there. Speed-wise, 87, getting more of that athleticism type of stuff. He's definitely got the speed there. Technique versatility, 86. You can put him in a lot of different spots. Yes, he might not be the most effective as a 3-tech, considering he is really underdeveloped in a lot of ways there. But there's definitely some good stuff. Again, you can put him in a lot of different stuff. Relentlessness, 74. Not really seeing too much of it, but at the same time, his sacks have come because he has worked pretty hard for them. Bull rush, 76. He doesn't, honestly, guys, have that great of a bull rush, to be honest with you. It never really, showed up, on tape that much. But at the same time, when he needs to go to it, he at least has it. Finesse rush, 88. It's dirty. He's shown, I'd probably say 2 times on film where I'm like, yeah, that's an NFL caliber play there. I mean, a guy like Lane Johnson might have trouble stopping that at times. But overall for Walter, it's not like this is his go-to move. He's gonna try to beat you, I guess, with finesse is what I'd like to say. But he has a very good Push, pull, swim, move. That again, that's really probably the only thing that he's developed really well so far. Speed rush 77, really just the athleticism carrying that. Improvisation 54. Like I said, push, pull, swim is really his only move. Bull rush again, when he needs it, it's there, but it's just still not that great. Block shedding 66. Tackling, I mean it's dead average. I mean he misses some tackles here and there, but like I'm not really too concerned about that for him. But yes, I will say the block shedding is not very good. He does get caught up a pretty decent amount of time. Move toolbox 76. Yeah, he does have a couple moves, like I said, but again, he really only goes, to be honest with you guys, Steph and S rush. So I would like to see him use a couple more stuff. And again, I'll be honest, guys, for some of these guys, the move toolbox is not applicable as well as some other things because that's just not who they are. And I'm not going to hurt them for stuff they're never going to really have to do in the league. Potential 84. I think he'll be a pretty good player overall. I'm going to say again, the potential is really what you're looking at when it comes to again this scale here, guys. You're never going to be like, oh my god, like he's so good or anything like that. Again, in terms of the overall grade, that's again the basis of it. But yeah, the potential is really what you're looking at with this. Anyway though, yes, his overall grade comes down to about a 78, which again by the scale puts him at, I guess, will be good in 2 years, which I think is pretty fair. I think honestly many people are gonna be, oh, this guy's definitely a project, but I do think that in 2 years I think he could definitely be a good player, to be honest with you. He's got all the physical traits. It's just getting we're ironing out a lot of stuff specifically. Getting him a little bit more, I would say probably creative, considering, yeah, that finesse rush, I really like where it's at right now, but he's got to be able to develop some of these other things, especially, again, when it comes to that handwork, quick, the fluidness is definitely something that I think, again, he's got to be able to reach this potential here, because, again, if he can get to the 82 and the fluidness, I really think he can be an effective pass rusher from the interior. Run defense, we know will never be an elite part of his game, but, again, if he can at least be average here, that would be good, too. That's all I got for Walter Nolen, guys. Let's get to our next guy.
There to try to stop the run. It's a loss of 2. Lauder now in motion. Nansen almost picked off.
And now we're on to the only of the 3 Oregon Duck defensive tackles, defensive ends, I guess you say, in Jordan Burch, who was pretty impressive last year for, again, the #1 team in the country for most of the season. Anyway, though, again, here with his, I guess, his bio. Again, he's 6'6", 295. That's a little, I don't know if he's 6'6". I call him 6'5". I think that's what he measured out as. Anyway, in 2024, Burch finally put it all together, through and tackles, 5 passes batted, 1 forced fumbles, 8.5 sacks. 8.5 sacks, definitely. Those were all legitimate sacks, too. Again, you can go watch them on tape. Again, if you don't have tape, well, I mean, most of you guys don't. But, yes, I'll tell you this. I guarantee this right now. All his sacks, I mean, the half sack, maybe not, but most of his sacks he worked for him and he made good plays on him. Burch played well for Oregon, showing dangerous rush ability from the defensive end or tackle. With his size, strength, and athleticism, Burch can play defensive end. He flashed his ability to play power end for the NFL. That is why I have him registered as defensive tackle. I do not think he's going to be successful enough in terms of his first step to really be a true edge rusher, guys. That's why him as a 3 tech will be massive. He can also move inside full-time and rusher with under the sub-package. Burch has one of the best physical suits of any player in the 25th draft. Very true. But some teams sources are worried about Burch dominating and playing. Yeah, of course he's never dominated. Bro, he's in freaking Oregon. He's never got that shot. Yeah, he played probably the most out of any Oregon defensive lineman this year. But, again, with that with the sophomore playing a little bit as well, I'm not going to really get too much into, again, the overall snap. It's in the nitty-gritties there. Anyway, though, I didn't talk about the comparison with, what is it called, Walter Nolen and Sheriff Floyd, because Sheriff Floyd is boring, and really the only reason that I think, that was, again, the comparison. Most of these comparisons, again, I'm pulling from Bleacher Report, to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to say all of them, but, again, I'll be honest, comparison is something I really do struggle with, and I don't want to give you guys, false, thinking of it, but I will say, again, I check with it, the film, make sure they match up somewhat well, but I'm not going out of my way to figure out who these guys are. I just, again, it is important, again, for, again, people who are good at finding, again, comparisons, that, again, I'm able to, again, they're usually pretty good with them, so I'm gonna, again, hand them some credit there. Anyway, though, yes, Sheriff Floyd was a boring player in the NFL. That's why he didn't really last that long, but, again, there's the physical tool sets with him and Walter Nolen are very good. Anyway, on to Jordan Burch. 73 for strength. He is, I wouldn't even say average with this. The reason it's here, though, is because it's not like he got mauled or anything. Again, the games against Ohio State, I wouldn't say he did too great against those guards, but you're not going to really worry about it. Beefiness, yeah, he's not a very big guy. That's why he was playing a little bit of edge last year. But yeah, he's not the biggest defensive tackle. Explosion, 91. It's not the first step that really encompasses this. It's just the overall fact that, again, off the line, he just gets going. And the reason, again, it's not the first step, because on the edge, he kind of does lose some of that explosiveness. Again, he doesn't really look as clean, but in the interior, oh, God, he gets on you fast. Handwork quickness, probably the worst thing about him, honestly, overall. Again, if he gets a lot more, I would say fluid, but like, again, if he attack, when he literally again gets to that guy, if he's able to again overall again just again speed up again his process with his pass rush moves, it'll go a long way for him. Handwork fluidness 78 though. Again, I think this is part of it. He's trying to refine it before again he starts to speed it up. But game speed for again the quickness of his again what he's trying to do just isn't really there. So again, yes, he's fluid, but like it's got the speed. Just I want to see the speed. Handwork effectiveness, yeah, 73. Again, nothing really that special. Run defense, yeah, he's gonna get moved a little bit. You're just have to accept it. Speed, 94. Yeah, he gets freaking moving. Like I said, the explosiveness, the speed go hand in hand. The reason it's in special is because there's no one else in the draft that I think again for defensive tackles specifically that get on you that fast, and also just the overall again throughout the entire process of again, yes, the handwork is probably the only thing, but everything else is top of the line in terms of again how quick he can get the quarterback. His sacks, he can really get there again if he really gets that going. Technique versatility 88. Like I said, it's really freaking good. You could argue it's elite. The only thing again with that run defense, not again overall again, stopping penetration and getting out leverage will be issues for him in the league. That's really the only thing holding him back from being in this tier because as a power end, it is possible there for him. Relentlessness 77. Yeah, he works pretty hard, but I'm not gonna act like he's like oh crap, every single play that motor's running 100%. Bull rush 69, nice. I don't really have much of a problem with it. It's not gonna really like do him like bad or anything, but he's not gonna like threaten anyone with it. Finesse rush 79, good. Speed rush is an 86. Again, that speed of his and that again. Speed rush go hand in hand. Improvisation 82. He does have a couple moves that I like, but again, none of them are really too developed. Block shed is probably 56. Yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about. That's 66. Tackling's 56. 56. He's not really that great against the run. His move toolbox, and I think this does go hand in hand with the improvisation because I don't really think he trusts all his moves right now, but he does have some very, very, very good ones. I'd say like 4 or 5 that he goes to. There's pull push swim. Again, most of these guys do have that again on the interior, but he uses it probably 4 or 5 different ways, which again, it really extends that. I will say his stab is once in a while working, which is good to see there. But yeah, the improvisation, I think, again, that's just really the creativity and the trust I don't think is really there for him right now. But if that improves, he should be good. And then his potential is a 90 because I think he could be a very good player. 76.1 overall grade, I guess, is what we're going to put him here. That's a potential good starter at some point, which I think is fair. I don't think he'll ever be like some Pro Bowl, like, oh my God player. But yes, he has a lot of pass rush potential, which I don't know, maybe we'll even give him that. Because, guys, at this point in the NFL, unless you're an absolute, like, just insane run defender, you're going to make the Pro Bowl if you get production from the interior. Anyway, though, that is all I got for you guys there, again, in terms of, like, pass rush. Let's get to our next guy, who is pretty interesting. Oh, wait. Not yet. Carl Brooks. Again, I don't really like this comparison, but I will say it does have some merit because coming out of college, I don't think anyone really projected Carl Brooks to be like this because I would say playing for small college, Bowling Green, it was a little bit different. But that's all I got for you guys with Jordan Burch. Let's get to our next guy.
Here they go. Finley has to roll to his left. It's going to be a tough throw, and he goes out.
And now on to the Ohio Statesman, Tyleik Williams, who is absolutely an interesting player. I mean, yes, a 6'2", 290, you're like, ew, that's kind of undersized. Well, somewhat it is, but guys, he was Ohio State's anchor for the run defense last year. There's no denying that. Every single game on film, he was pretty good presence there. Anyway, though, in 2024, 38 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and thus far, I guess. Williams is quick, athletic on the inside. I would say he's definitely pretty athletic. Again, especially with the measurables. Anyway, though, some sources late first round potential, and others have projected day 2. He will be day 2, in my opinion. I think he'll definitely be able to get drafted there. I'm telling you guys that right now. Not that I think he's good enough to be there, or he should be even better, but that is where I think he'll be going. So again, if you're looking for him on a mock draft, coming from me Saturday, Sunday, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But pre-free agency mock draft, it's got to be Saturday, Sunday. But try not to get off topic there. For Tyleik, yes, he does. He's got good strength. Again, you don't move him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And the benching numbers say it too. Beefiness 84. He plays big, which is good. Explosion 86. Off the line, very very good. Handwork quickness is not good. He's slow. Very methodical, which isn't a bad thing, but it's gonna hurt him in the league. Handwork fluidness is not good. It's frustrating to watch. I wish though he does have. There's something there with his hands. I wouldn't say they're ever going to be like violent or anything, like, oh my God. But I'm going to say, I call it like sneaky vicious. That's probably the best way to describe it. The reason it's a 72 though is because, again, if you're hesitating when you're moving, you're just not really moving that fast in the first place. and then the fluid just is very choppy. It's kind of hard, again, to not have T-Rex arms, but I will say there's something there. Run defense resistance is an 88. Again, like I said, he doesn't get pushed around. He even penetrates sometimes against the run. The reason I say that is because he gets double teamed almost every single play, especially in those zone schemes, which he will be going up against a lot in the league. So it'll be nice to see if he can actually penetrate, because if he's able to do that, he's definitely a special player in that trait. Speed. Just 83. I'm not gonna act like it's bad, but like I don't really see again like the overall hype with this. Yes, I'm gonna say it's really good because it's true. I'm not gonna like act like he didn't live up to this, but I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest with you. Technique versatility 83. 3 tech, 1 tech, 0 tech. He can play a lot, and then again the really interior. But the reason I say it's really good versatility is because there aren't really many guys who can say it could be productive at pass rush wise in terms of pressure at 3 tech. As well as interior. Run line 62. He's not a guy who's going to try to run, every single play up. He's basically out there to stop the run. So, yeah. But I will say his bull rush is really freaking good. Like, I wouldn't call it elite by any means, but it is very, very good. And, again, I think that'll fit him a lot. And if he's going to get pressure in the league, he's going to be using that bull rush. Finesse rush, I don't really, again, for first disclaimer, you guys, when it comes to, again, this is really, again, calculated through average for the grade. I'm not trying to cook these guys in terms of their overall grades because, again, some of these guys would be in the 50s if I did do that. But we'll get to it. I cap out at 50 as your lowest possible grade because, again, there's no way, again, unless you're like actually awful, which you're not gonna be evaluated in the first place if that bad. Yes, there's some guys with there's some stuff they really struggle with, but I'm gonna cap it out at 50 for the lowest grade, to be honest with you guys, so it doesn't kill them. But finesse rush 42, yes, he doesn't have it. Let's put it as it is, and when he's tempted to use it, it just doesn't work. Speed rush 61, again, really it's kind of that that explosion carrying him there. But yeah, the actual rush itself is just not really I wouldn't say the bend, because you don't really see many bendy interior defensive linemen. But the way, again, that's probably the best way to put it. He's kind of like stiff. Improvisation 71, he is pretty creative once in a while. I'll give him his credit there, even if it's just funny. Tackling 74, he does do somewhat well with arm tackles. Block shedding's 82, he gets out blocks really well. And move to a box not applicable to him. You're not going to be expecting to make more than maybe 3 moves at tops, which means this really doesn't matter. Potential 77, I think he'll be a solid guy overall. Again, this is kind of a high floor, I wouldn't say low ceiling, but lower ceiling. 73.7 overall grade, though. Eddie Goldman's comparison. Eddie Goldman had a really freaking weird career. His best year, in my opinion, was probably 2018. Yes, he had Khalil Mack on the interior as well as Akeem Hicks, but he was really freaking good that year. 2019, kind of a washer year. 2020, he COVID. 2021 wasn't very good. He retired the past few years, then he played a good amount last year. I don't think he was too awful. But yeah, a lot of the run defense traits stem right from Eddie Goldman for Tyleik Williams. I'll be honest, I watched a lot of Eddie Goldman's film to compare him to Tyleik Williams, because I saw, again, a lot of good stuff with those two. Anyway, though, let's get to our next guy, which, questions maybe?
Here's Jennings now on first down. Knowles coming with pressure, and he's going to be sacked.
And on to our guy from Florida State, who, again, was very overshadowed last year considering how bad Florida State was. But I think he's arguably the most underrated defensive tackle in this entire draft, and you'll see why when we get to it in a minute. But, again, overall, the bio here, getting 6'3", 318, which I think is pretty accurate. Had a solid season for Seminoles, plugging up running lanes, blah, blah, blah. 32 total tackles, 4 sacks, and Sagan 35 sacks. Team sources say he's strong physical. It isn't bad athletically. However, they question his instincts and feel he has issues finding the ball. They don't feel he uses his hands well to shed blocks and make plays. That is very fair. He didn't really shed blocks at all this last year. I will say 2023 did a much better job with that. But there's just something there. I'll get to it. But for Joshua, his strength is decent. Again, he's against some crappy, I guess, ACC guards. He did, I wouldn't say dominate, but he had his way in a little bit of again, against the run a little bit in terms of penetration wise, which I don't really think people understand. Yes, he wasn't like making too many like plays in terms of against the run, like stuffing guys or anything, but he was penetrating well enough. Again, a lot of those plays I get were made by those Florida State linebackers, as well as, again, their secondary not being the greatest outside of Azari Thomas. But I like it. Beefiness, again, the weight speaks for itself. Explosion, pretty explosive. I don't really know if really good is the best way to put it, but honestly, just straight up solid, guys. Like, it's very consistent there. Handwork quickness and handwork fluidness do go hand in hand, which is what you do like to see. But yes, he's pretty decent with that. And his handwork effectiveness, I think, is an 83. Yes, I get that on film it doesn't really show there, which might be like, oh, how does that work? But trust me, he has really good hands when he puts these two things together. They don't go together a lot, but when they do, those plays, like those, I'm going to say probably 10 or so plays that I watched of those, it worked out really well. That's why it's an 83. Again, other guys, it just, again, even when they're coordinated, it's not this good. Run defense resistance, it's average. Again, he's not going to make great plays again on the ball. He's not going to be that playmaker, and for that reason, it's hard to get a good grade here. Speed 80. It's above average. About it there. Relentlessness, technique versatility is 92. The reason I say that is because I wouldn't be surprised he plays a lot of 5 tech going into the league, to be honest with you. But yeah, he can play anywhere from 5 down, which again, for a lot of other guys is really hard to find. I'd honestly call it elite because he's good at every single spot equally. Relentlessness 88. That's why he gets pressure. Simply put, he won't win every single time for obvious reasons. Specifically, he's not very, again, he's rarely coordinated with his again, handwork, again, what is it called? Like overall just straight up movement and obviously fluidness and quickness. So again, that just not really being coordinated is going to hurt him there. But when he gets pressure, he's really working for it. Bull rush is good enough. Finesse rush is decent. I like what I saw. Speed rush, honestly, just not there. Improvisation 71. Again, very average. Again, you'll probably see 2 out of every 10 plays. He's going to try to do something a little out there, but it'll work. Tackling 74, very average. Block shedding is decent. He doesn't have move 2 bucks, also isn't applicable. But it's really just because we haven't seen it, to be honest with you, so I can't really make a fair assessment on that. And his potential is an 86. I think he'll be a solid player. That's going to round to a 79.7. And you might ask, how is that high? It's pretty simple because he only has one thing in the below average. To be honest with you guys, I think that's very fair for him. There aren't many things he actually struggles with. I get that many people are going to be, oh, shoot, oh, what the hell was that? Or like, what was that play? I get that, but I'm going to just be honest with you guys, the potential with this guy in terms of, again, the overall, again coordination here with the handwork is something that, again, I think he'll be able to put together and make himself a really good player with that trait. If he's able to do that, and the fact that I really didn't see much on film, like, yeah, outside of the speed rush, that was like, that's definitely a struggle for him. For that reason, again, he's here. It's not because he's like, again, he's really good, even elite in some parts, but he's not like a special prospect. I gotta preface that. But there's not much that I can really like critique him on overall, which many people are like, oh, there's this and that. Like, really? Rewatch the tape, bro. Like, I'm honest, I didn't see enough to the point where that's a problem. And also in the league, he's got some traits that I think will help him excel. With that said, though, Carlos Watkins is his comparison. Carlos Watkins just isn't a very productive pressure type of guy overall. I'm not going to act like he's, like, terrible, but, like, again, for a guy who's never really a true starter in the league, you can kind of get it. Which the reason I will say this is a pretty fair comparison is because I'm not going to, like, act like Joshua Farmer is going to be some elite player. I just think overall, he's a really solid player. I think this is where he'll be in the league.
Play potential. Klubnik. Third down so far. Here's Klubnik. Texas native.
Getting to one guy before we get to halfway, of course, TJ Sanders, who, again, was the standout South Carolina nose tackle in a lot of ways last year for them. He, again, big part in their reemergence there in the now really gritty SEC. But for Sanders last year, 4 sacks, 51 tackles, solid production from that interior there. Showed some dangerous interior pass rush ability, and some team sources feel that rising leading up to his draft. He performed well at the Senior Bowl practices. I wouldn't say well. I'd say he stood out in a good way sometimes, but it wasn't like he was going crazy. I'd say the bubble for him, I guess, is good. I'd argue even if he does fall that far, he could go to the third. I'll say that though. But yes, the pass rush ability on tape was absolutely there. I gotta put that out there. But it's not for the reasons you might think. Strength, really good. Again, if you're an interior defensive tackle, it's pretty simple. If you don't have really good strength, it's hard to be an effective player. Beefiness, basically what you need. Explosion, not good. I don't know how he works this. I'll be honest with you guys, but he's not that explosive of a player. Handwork, quickness, and handwork fluidness, they're not good. Very simple. It's not that he's not, like, again, he has violent hands. I'll tell you that, like, right now. When he puts it together, very violent hands. But the inconsistency with the quickness. When he tries to go quick, the effectiveness is completely gone. When he focuses on it, not really the fluidness, because his moves are not fluid, guys. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know when the developing happened, but yes, it's very, very, I would say even wonky is the right word. It's weird. But you might say, oh, weird is still fluid. It's not. Fluidness is definitely a subjective trait, to be honest with you guys. You don't really need it too much, to be honest with you guys. But you do need it for one thing. And again, unless you're, again, what he is in a lot of ways, trying to have violent hands, you do need to be somewhat fluid, and he just does not have that. But the violent hands are there, guys. He can really mess up a guard if the quickness is there. But the quickness is rarely there, and for that reason, it's just really hard for that all to go together. Run evading resistance is an 88, though. Many people don't realize, yes, he's a very good pass rusher, again, when he puts it all together, but the 88's there for a reason, guys. He can, again, very good standing up through it. Speed, 67. I don't really see him as a guy who, again, is consistently, again, blowing by guys there. Technique versatility, 65. Have him at 3 tech. Very simple there. Relentlessness, 87. That might even be a little bit low, guys. Again, when I talk about passer's ability, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. He works his butt off. But it's weird because it's more the tendency. He's ferocious. Like, it's pretty simple. He's going to want to knock your effing quarterback's head off. But yeah. And now here we're at. Bull rush is an 89. Whatever he does, he moves dudes and he moves the pocket. Not many guys in the NFL, I think, again, I'd probably go like 13, 14 guys that can move the pocket on every single play. He might have that ability. I'm not going to say it's special because didn't see it enough. Also, there weren't those insane plays, again, with the flashes. Still very, very good. He does move the pocket well, but T.J. Sanders does have that. Finesse rush, not great. Speed rush, he doesn't use it. Like, I can't really grade that. Improvisation, 71, very average. And if you do some stuff, that's going to get you that. 81 for the tackling, very good tackler against the run. Block shedding is pretty decent. Move toolbox is atrocious. Pretty simple there. The reason I did grade it, though, is because I think I had enough film on him for that I think it was fair. He has maybe 2 moves, if I'm being generous, that I think he could use consistently and could get away with one of them, using it. The bull rush is what he's going to use, though. Pretty simple there. Potential 82. I'll be honest, because I don't think I'll ever see him being a guy that'll be like, holy crap. But he could boom one season. I'll say that. There could be a season where he just goes completely off. I will say that. But there's a lot of stuff here that I just don't like at the moment, and I don't know if he'll really be able to, again, the quickness and the fluidness were just, it made me awk on tape. Like, I won't call it an ick, but that was an ick. Oh, God. On tape for me there. So, that's why he's going to get a 72, 82 for the potential, though. Draymond Jones' comparison. Draymond Jones had a very similar comparisons there. But he's an effective interior pass rusher. So, again, whatever it is, whether it's the bull rush or the fact that, again, he's got some sort of strength. I don't want to act like, and this is just all over the place, this scouting card. But guys, I'm not going to act like T.J. Sanders is like a bad player by him, because he did a lot for South Carolina last year. But again, that handwork, quickness, and fluidness need a lot of work. Anyway, though, let's get to our next guy who also has some issues.
What you guys did in that first game?
I'm going to say, first as a team, I'm going to say the team. I think our will to win, like, I've never been around people who, like, it's a...
All right, guys, now we're on to the Tennessee man, Omarr Norton-Lott. I mean, I don't think that's how you spell his name. I think it's 2 R's. But that's besides the point. This is a dude who has a lot of potential. I'm telling you guys that out of the bat. On film, he popped off in a lot of ways. But there are some very, very, very brutal pieces of tape that I would like to discuss in a minute. Anyway, though, again, going through this quickly, Norton-Lott is a quick gap shooting defensive tackle. I mean, that's basically the best we can wrap it up. That's one of the reasons I took this really freaking good description there. Capable of putting pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's kind of what he's going to be in the league for. 5.5 sacks, Arizona State. No, again, he's a transfer. He moved around a lot. Norton-Lott looked more muscular and more tougher against against the run with Tennessee than he did with the Sun Devils. Guys, Arizona State's defense is paper mache. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you watch that team play, I mean, yes, this year they were like really freaking good. I got to give them all the credit in the world. But in years past, they've been god awful. They were guys. You guys got to realize they were fun to finish last in the Big 12, at least in terms of preseason voting, that being the Arizona State Sun Devils. So the fact they were able to do that this year, I got to give them all the credit in the world. Their head coach, amazing job for them. But team sources, yeah, likely is a lot in the bubble first round second. He's dynamic interior pass rusher with tough. Yeah, I guess it is tough commodity. I mean, there's really only like 3 guys, I think, his entire draft that I think will be producers at that spot. I'm going to go to the comparisons right now to Henry Melton because I think this is the perfect guy to find for him. Did I find him? Sort of. Not really. I'm going to say Bleacher Report did a good job with that one. But anyway, yes, his career was short and kind of like not really what you wanted. I wouldn't say he fell off after 2012, but he wasn't the same player. I think that would be very fair to say. But he did make the Pro Bowl that year. Very, very, very well deserved. At 6 sacks, I think he was like 8th in the league in terms of pressure from the interior. That might even be wrong. I think even more big, and stats are a little bit skewed back then. But on film in 2012, he was one of the better interior pass rushers in the entire NFL. I do think it's some player that will be Omarr, Norton-Lott's peak, but I will have to be honest with you guys. The run defense and just overall on the tape you got from Henry Melton was pretty atrocious his entire career. For that reason, I do in fact think that Norton-Lott could have that issue at times, but I don't think it'll be again as stressed. Anyway, though. Also for Henry Melton, it would be a good thing to know. After he left the Bears in 2013 for whatever, I think it was just a contract thing. Also an old rookie. He really didn't have much of, again, a fit with the Bucs. That's like his last career season. Also, there were a lot of other things that went on. Anyway, though, with Omarr himself, his strength, it's a 74, guys. I'm not going to lie. He's not the strongest dude in the world. He will get moved around against the run. That's just how it is. BVS, his build is just really not for a guy you're going to be like really wanting to see anywhere outside of 3-tech, which we'll get to the versatility in a second. Explosions in 87, it's definitely really good. I'm not going to say it's elite because I've definitely seen guys that, get off the ball a little bit better, but at the same time, very good. Handwork quickness is a 95. He attacks you very quickly. I'm not going to say, like, he's going to knock the crap out of you. It's not out of you, like, again, in terms of the effectiveness and, like, violent hands. But he has very, very quick moves, and they work very well. Fluidness is an 83. Something he's really developed. Again, I think it was really Arizona State where this was a big stressor for him. I got to give credit to their D-line coach there. He did a very, very good job with him. Anyway, though, run defense resistance is, I gotta be honest, probably 49. Again, it's right around 50, so I guess it's not as bad as it could be. But, again, he will get pushed around, and he does get penetrated on, but that's part of the reason he's the way he is, which, you're just going to have to accept him. Like, he will get penetrated on. And, again, you don't want that. Again, that's, like, the biggest sign for just not a weak, again, run stuffer, but at the same time, you're just going to have to take that. Speed, 89. He is definitely a fast guy. I mean, you watch him again. It kind of goes with the handwork quickness, but more to the fact that, again, I think he uses his really good speed just coming from it to have that elite handwork quickness. Technique versatility, again, you're going to see him in 3-tech. That's really about it. I mean, maybe on the edge sometimes, but again, he's going to get pushed around if you try to do that. Again, going at some of these guys. Relentlessness is an 82. That's part of the reason you get some of his production. I'm not going to act like all the time his moves are, again, completely working all the time, but it's okay. His bull rush is definitely inconsistent. I'm not going to say he doesn't have power, because honestly, he does. That's part of the reason he did register. It was like 34 pressures last year, something like that. Really good, again, considering where he was there. But I'm not going to act like his bull rush is anything dynamic. But as rush is an 85, it's coming along. It used to be, like, not good at all. It really started to ramp up towards the end of last year, especially in that college football playoff. I really think he was underrated in that game. Speed rush is 91. Again, it goes hand in hand with the handwork quickness. Again, if you have quick hands, guys, you automatically will have a very good speed rush. It's almost impossible unless you're getting your fluidness is cooked. Anyway, though, improvisation, he doesn't really improv. I'm just completely honest with you guys, but there's a couple times that I did see him, again, try to change things up. I wouldn't say it wasn't successful, but again, it was definitely creative. Block shedding's 45, or no, not tackling, my bad. He does miss tackles. It's just going to happen, even on sack plays. Block shedding's a 65. Again, I think he does get off blocks okay, but definitely not where you want him. Move toolbox is a 92. He has probably 4 or 5 moves that I think are somewhat well developed. That, again, speaks to that finesse rush that is really developed. Potential 90, I think he definitely a really effective, again, pass rushing defensive tackle. With that said, though, 76.5, overall grade for him. That might be a little bit, again, skewed there, but when you really think about it, him being that pass rush specialist there, he's going to be huge for a lot of NFL teams. And don't act like this guy's going to be a 3-down player all the time. Again, he's definitely going to be there on 3rd down almost every single play. But, again, those run-stuffing situations, you probably won't see him out there. Again, if you're drafting him, probably just a good thing to mention there. Now, let's get to another guy who has, I guess, some pass rush capabilities, maybe not.
Picks up 3 there. On 2nd down, we'll throw a quick slant. And that one is... Pressure comes. They pick it up. Now they go...
Now let's get on to the rock-solid defensive tackle. I mean, that's what we're doing in this, so I mean, I guess that makes sense. Shemar Turner from Texas Tech. Not Texas Tech. That's the other guy next year. But Texas A&M, Shemar Turner. He is a very, very, very safe player, in my opinion. Again, just on film. There's very rare plays where you're like, yeah, that just wasn't very good. But with that said, he is a brick in a lot of ways out there. I'm gonna be honest, there's just some things he's gonna be a complete donut for. One of those is the fact that he has brick hands. It's simple as that. His hands do not move fast and they don't move fluid, and they're really not a whole lot of effective. But anyway, yeah, he does need to get stronger. He's not the strongest dude in the world, but I will say his natural, overall, strength is good enough. He does need to get stronger if he wants to be somewhat effective, but not terrible. Yeah, I think he probably won't get out of the 2nd round just because there are some things that I really can't ignore. But at the same time, yeah, he's definitely not dominant. I don't think he'll ever need to be dominant either. Anyway, though, his strength is 75. Like I said, he's not the strongest dude in the world. It's not the end of the world for him, though. Again, it's good enough. PV is 83. Probably the best, arguably, natural trait about him. Explosion, average, so average. Like, you watch him every play, you're like, yeah, it's okay, but like you're not gonna get too giddied up about it. And yeah, handwork, quickness, fluidness, effectiveness. The reason I call him brick hands because it's true, but like in the grand scheme of things, guys, it's not that bad. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like I talk about it because there are some plays where like, holy crap, what the hell was that? But grand scheme of things, it's dead average. Run defense resistance is an 88. Again, like I talked about the beefiness, that really helps out the fact that, again, he is very, very, very good against the run and not getting penetrated on. I'm not going to act like he completely like destroys a hole or anything at times, but he's definitely good there. Speed, average. Technique versatility, you're going to have him at one tech, nose tackle, stuff like that. You're not going to really use him anything else. Relentlessness, 76. I'm not going to act like it's too great, but like there were plays where, again, he did work for at least a pressure. Bull rush, he does have a good bull rush. I'll at least give him that. It really gets tough to say there. I definitely think, again, when I look at the grading scale here, I think it fits in the 80s, but at the same time, it's not anything special, but it's definitely reliable enough to give you something. Finesse rush, that's where the issue is. He doesn't have one. And when he's tried to use it, which, again, is a little more consistent than you really want him to, it's atrocious. Speed rush, it's below average, but I'm not going to really like dog on him too much with that. Improvisation, 66. Again, very, like, whatever. Tackling, decent tackler. Again, arm tackler overall. Block shedding, he does shed blocks well, which is very weird, but he's able to. Move toolbox, the reason I gave it a 5, which, again, the only reason I really registered this week, he doesn't need one. Well, guys, Shemar is still trying to get pressure. Like, you got to realize, teams are going to expect him to at least get some pressure, but with what he has right now, he is literally a decent bull rush overall. And a finesse rush that is completely cooked. And again, if that doesn't change, his toolbox will not go anywhere. When it comes to like the overall handwork as like dead average, you gotta at least have something developed in terms of, again, creativity and like other stuff you can go to. And I don't think this is like capped out, honestly. I'd be shocked if it gets any better, and it might even get worse, to be honest with you guys. So he's got brick hands in a lot of ways. I don't really think it registers in terms of his actual handwork though, which is weird. But again, you watch it on film, you're like, it's not the end of the world with that, but he doesn't have any moves. It's simple as that. Again, he has a bull rush, but that's literally it, and it's not even like that great. So yeah, his toolbox is literally a 5. It's about as bad as can get. You know what he's gonna do, and you're not really that afraid of it. So for that reason, again, there's really just straight up nothing there. And again, I get people would like, don't even do it for him. But teams are gonna at least expect him to get some pressure, and he's not gonna be able to do that right now. Potential, I think he'll be a decent player. Sebastian Joseph Day was a decent player. I'd say he was a little bit above average with the Rams back in 2021, when of course they were really good that year. But in the grand scheme of things, guys, for Shemar Turner, again, if he's ending close to the way Joseph Day was consistent on a consistent basis in 2021, again, for Shemar in his career, he'll be fine. The grade isn't pretty, but again, the toolbox, he has absolutely no pass rush moves. And again, if that doesn't change, like, I really don't see how that like is gonna like make him a super valuable player in the league. But yes, 71.444 Shemar. Now let's get to 3 dudes that are pretty exciting.
Hawkins opens that up.
See on the Oklahoma side of the 49. Now hand off to Barnes, who cuts back and runs right into.
The first of those was part of a team that did, of course, go to the College Football semifinal in Texas. He was their run stuffer. Very simple there. He moves the pocket. Again, it's a pass rusher, but he's not going to be registering like a ton of pressure. But he does move the pocket, which is, again, for a lot of defensive tackles, what you're striving to be able to do. Again, if you're not some like explosive like prima donna, I guess is the best way to put it. But yes, Collins is strong, physical, and very tough as a run defender. Some team sources say could sneak in the first round. I would be shocked if he makes the first round because, again, grand scheme of things, probably a nose tackle. And again, when you think about that, again, he's a very good run defender. I get that, but it's very hard to think that, again, a true nose tackle is going to be drafted anywhere high. Again, the last guy I think you can probably say is Jordan Davis, and he was picked way too freaking high. Let's be honest, again. For that production, you can't really say he was worth that pick, again, for the Eagles at least. But again, when you get Joe Carter there, I don't really think it matters that, again, they picked him there. Anyway, though. Now we get into Alfred Collins. He's got very good strength. I'm not going to act like it's anything insane. I think his beefiness does make up for it. He's just a freaking big dude. Like, in terms of the ratio, again, I don't think his strength is, like, elite by any means, but he does still has really good strength. Again, as a run defender, it's kind of hard to, like, see him as anything different. Explosion, he's not really expected to do that. Handwork quickness, I will say for a guy his size, he does, again, get things going pretty well. Fluidness, it's just not really consistent, to be honest with you. Effectiveness, I'm not gonna say he doesn't have potential to again once in a while just completely rip down the hands of a guard or even a center at some points, but more likely than that, that's not gonna happen. Run defense resistance, it's his best trait, 95. He's gonna move guys, and again, even double teams, he's still gonna move you. Speed, Don't ask him to get in the open field or really do anything more than maybe like one sprint in practice. I don't know. Technique, versatility, yeah, again, not really that great. He's going to be a nose tackle more likely than not. Relentlessness, I'm just going to give him dead average there. It's not really measured that well there. Bull rush is an 82. He moves the pocket as a pass rusher, which again is what you're going to ask from him there. Finesse rush and speed rush, again, not really aren't that applicable, but I at least gave him some sort of graded out. Again, just to give you guys, I guess, some sort of idea of where it is. Improvisation, again, you're not going to ask him to do that. I mean, if you do, you're just a complete freaking idiot. Don't be like the Cowboys with Mozzie Smith. And tackling is an 85. He's a very good tackler, especially those arm tackles. One of the better ones in college. You saw Quinshon Judkins did get engulfed in that hole. Box shedding 90. Very good at it. I don't really, again, similar to Shemar Turner, I don't really, like, understand it, but it works. Again, it's more, again, the power, but, again, it works. Blue toolbox, same thing, not applicable. Again, Shemar Turner it is, not for him. Potential. He's a nose tackle, guys. Unless you're freaking Dexter Lawrence, which he isn't. I don't really think you can be out of there. Maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he's just like freaking Vita Vea, all I know. But I think he's going to be a solid run defender. I don't think he's going to be an elite one, but I think he'll be a solid one. And he'll maybe move the pocket a little bit, but I don't really see him being anything crazy. Ashawn Robinson's comparison, guys. Ashawn Robinson is anything crazy. He was with the Rams, good player, nothing crazy. With the Lions, nothing crazy, good player. Anyway, though, yeah, that's all I got for him. Now let's get to, of course, the two Michigan men.
Tunga Vailoa looking at sack. Graham finally gets to him.
And the first of those two Michigan defensive tackles, at least for Walter football, again, I guess he's number 2. But it is Mason Graham, who is a very, very, very highly touted, interior defensive lineman. He had some duds this year, I'm not going to lie, but his overall body of work in his career is very impressive. Graham plays hard and is tough at the point of attack. I wouldn't say he's just tough. He completely freaking F's up holes. He has a bad body. Guys, 6'3", 318, I guess is not good. Like, the build overall is not what you want, but he overcomes it with everything else. And that bothers some team sources. I don't know why. Has multiple team sources, they grant 10-16 first round. He should be a top 10 pick, in my opinion. Just telling you guys right now. He should be. He's got the talent for it. But for him, his strength is really good, even though, again, like I said, he's not the most, like, imposing player in the world. PVness, he's still 318, guys. He's got something there. Explosion, 84. Not going to jump off the page at you, but it's going to be good. Handle quickness is probably, he definitely uses it pretty well. I'm not going to act like he's not completely great with it. Fluidness, that's what he's got to work on. We all know that. If you watch it on film, it's like there's just like a little hesitation there. Like that. Little hesitation in the way he, again, uses his hands. And that's just, it's got to be better. But his effectiveness is very good. Probably the best in this entire draft class for, again, at least defensive tackles. Not going to really talk about Abdul Carter. He's got insanely violent hands. It's really good to see. But they're flashes. So I'm not going to act like, yeah, it's like every play where he's like, oh, freaking collage can't do anything. Run defense resistance, 91. I don't know. Maybe it's as good as Kenneth Grant. You can, I don't know, argue with the wall about that one. Speed, 93. This is just overall, he plays fast. Simple. Every single play, especially against the run, he's going to make stuff happen. Technique versatility, 86. I do think you could probably put him out at the 5 tick if you really needed to. Relentlessness, average. And again, it wasn't really displayed much. Bull rush is an 87. It's definitely his best move overall. Again, and he used it to set up other stuff, which I really like. Again, this is what I'll talk about in a second. But his finesse rush is good enough. Simple as that. Again, for what he needs to do, it's good. Speed rush, like I said, he plays fast. Again, honest call elite speed in terms of play speed. And again, when you can have speed rush like that too, works out well. Improvisation, like I said, he uses bull rush to set everything else up. Again, the fact that it's a really good move puts him in a good spot there. Again, if it was elite, we could be talking about some other stuff. Again, it's just straight up not. So yes, tackling is a 96. He will arm tackle really well. That's the biggest thing in with tackling. Also, maybe miss like one tackle this year. Very, very good when he can get in those spots. I guess you call it special, but honestly, I don't know if I've seen him miss a tackle, to be completely honest with you guys. Block shedding's an 88, gets off blocks really well, but I will say, once in a while, he doesn't really make the greatest approach to it. Move toolbox, dead average. He's got probably 3 or 4 moves, but again, the way he, again, is creative with them is very good to see. And special's a 92 because he's got a lot of good traits, and outside of, again, that, fluidness overall in terms of the hesitation, a little like, I don't even know, it's like a jolt thing, habit, I don't even know what to call it. Outside of that, he's like a really refined prospect, which is really nice to see. Now let's get to Kenneth Grant, though, because he's also really good.
Just a couple of seconds went by. Childs, pursuit from the backside, down he goes, ball is out, Michigan's got it.
And the last guy we'll be talking about here, again, before we get into this whole thing, is Kenneth Grant, the other Michigan defensive tackle. Again, he's 6'3", 339. I'm 6'3", 340. just give him it. Rare combination of speed, athleticism, and strength. The speed, I'd say he has good speed. But yes, the athleticism and strength are absolutely true. Grant has a top-notch ability with surprising ability to bend his big body. I don't like to say, this is, honestly, guys, if you get a defensive tackle that has some sort of bend, it's just weird. I don't know what other way to put it. It just seems unnecessary because I wouldn't say I'm old-fashioned. I'm just a little bit weird about something like that. I'm like, yeah, it's freaking great, but like, does he really need to use that? Like, again, it's great. Again, it's awesome, but like, I don't know, at least on film from what I saw, if that's really going to be a useful tool for him. Yes, it's awesome, but like, I don't know if he's going to actually need to use it. Yeah, strong with when he wants to, or wants or needs to. Oh, freaking Drake songs now. Grant's fast the ability to run plays down. That is true. He can move. A ton of upside, and he looks to be Thomas is going to be. He could be a better pro and college player. It looks like a top first round. Some sources say an elite run defender right now. Not elite. Can be. Very, very close. And while he's not an elite pass rusher right now, again, a lot of ability to improve. He could be an elite pass rusher. This guy could be. Kenneth Grant, maybe. But for Kenneth overall, yes, his strength is, I don't really care about the combine. His play strength was very, very good. I'm going to give him that. BVness, we already know about. Explosion is very rare for his size, but it's still not special. I'm not going to act like he's, oh my god, like what the heck there. Handwork, quickness, fluidness, and effectiveness are all worse than, that might be a little bit hypocritical. Honestly, I'll probably give him a 74, because, to be honest, guys, it's not as bad as you might have. I just, again, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the way he uses his hands, to be honest with you guys. It's part of the reason I gave that. And on film, kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to wash that out. But I'll give him at least an average for that, I guess. Run defense resistance, very, very good. Almost good as Alfred Collins, I guess. I just gave him a little bit of an edge. But yes, he's a special run defender. Speed, 84. Really good, again, for his size. But I'm not going to, in the overall picture, he's not like an elite guy there. Technique versatility. Again, I think he can go in a couple different spots, but again, that bend they talked about, again, I think that definitely extends it a little bit more, but there's only 3 or 4 spots I realistically think he could actually be a dominant player, which is what you're going to want to use him for. Relentlessness is an 81, that's how he got a couple of his pressures. Bull rush, yeah, good. Finesse rush, not really used too much, and it's also still developing. I'm not going to act like it's bad, but right now it's just below average. Speed rush, dead average, will probably stay there. Improvisation, doesn't really use it, but again, I think that does hurt him a little bit. Probably the biggest flaw of it in his game. But tackling is definitely an 83. He tackles really well. Block shedding, good. Potential, 87. That's really the difference between him and Mason Graham, in my opinion. Even though, again, his overall grade is, again, I guess 4 points lower. Guys, the biggest thing with Kenneth Grant, in my opinion, is the fact that I don't really think his handwork is really that great, to be honest with you. People are like, oh, yeah, it's good. But, like, when you really look in the film on, like, a consistent basis, again, especially in that game against, who the heck was it? Oh, I'm blanking. How am I keep blanking, guys? Oh, my God. Yes, against Ohio State. Yes, that Ohio State, that Michigan defense completely shut down Will Howard and then Ohio State offense. Give him all the credit. But Kenneth Grant, I think, could have done a lot more if his handwork was a lot more refined, to be honest with you guys. And also, just doesn't really look that great right now. This is what I've seen on film from him. That's why he's not getting like in the 80s. But very, very, very good prospect. You'll see a lot of it. Now let's get this overall ranking. All right, guys. Again, we're going to go in order. Again, like overall, again, encompassing this. Walter Nolen, of course, was the first guy we graded. He came out with a solid 77.9 overall grade if you didn't really think about that, I guess. And that's at the very top of, again, will potentially be a good starter at some point. 2, again, will be good in 2 years. I'm going to really lean into the, again, could be good in 2 years. Next up is Jordan Burch, who is a, again, good prospect. But, again, there are some issues that, again, arose with him a lot. But overall, again, the 76.11 put him in the, put that there. Yeah, again, he should be good at some point. Tyleik Williams, more of, again, that boring defensive tackle, but there is some versatility which I think was good. Also playing in the Big Ten against some good opponents. He did show some pretty good tape at times. For that reason, again, decent player. But, again, when it comes down to it, yeah, fringe starter probably, if I'm being honest with you guys. Joshua Farmer, yes, I did tick it down a little bit, I'll be honest there. I kind of really think about it. Again, also, I didn't want to, like, look. Again, love Joshua Farmer, but, again, straight up, putting him over Kenneth Grant is just a little bit crazy, so yeah, I just ticked it back a little bit. But still, I really, really like him. I think there's a lot there. And for that reason, again, I think he'll be a good starter, like, really good starter, in maybe 2 years. TJ Sanders, 71.94. Again, he's got some issues overall, again, in his overall makeup. But when it comes down to, again, I think he'll be, at the very least, a good backup, to be honest with you guys, but a starter for sure, again, if he keeps working on this issues. Omarr Norton-Lott, again, the specialist, again, I think he'll be a good player. Simple as that. There's definitely some issues. He probably won't be, again, a straight-up, like, 3-down starter, but, again, with what he's got, you got to be happy with it. Shemar Turner, yes, low is overall graded out, but you got to realize the potential, again, I do think kind of limits that, but overall, again, he's got a pretty good floor. I think that will help him out a lot. Again, also, if he can really, again, define what he wants to be in the league, I think that'll also help him go a long way and, again, really determine who he can be. Alfred Collins, again, really good run stuffer. Really not much else to say there. Mason Graham, he comes with the overall highest grade simply because he just doesn't have too many weaknesses. And also, again, the stuff he does need to work on, it's not the biggest issue in the world. Also, there are some things that I really like out of him. I just think he's going to be a freaking really solid defensive tackle, guys. Kenneth Grant, a lot of people like him. Again, this isn't his actual grade. Sorry about that. But it was around an 80. Yes, you could probably pick. If you told me he was better than Mason Graham, I really wouldn't kind of against it. I just think there's some things that are a little bit more, again, daring for him to work on, as well as the fact, again, I just don't think his handwork is really honestly there right now. But either way, again, sorry for like the overall graphics. Kenneth Grant's your number 2, again, with about an 80 grade. Again, sorry for that number. Mason Graham, 83.72. Walter Nolan's third with a 77.9. Joshua Farmer, who, again, I really like, 77.71. Omarr Norton-Lott, 76.5. Again, his pass rush really carries him there. Jordan Burch, same type of thing. His versatility is huge. Tyleik Williams is 7th with 73.71. Alfred Collins, 72.56. And 9th is TJ Sanders with 71.94. And again, Shemar Turner rounding it out at 71.44. With that said, that's all I got for you guys here in the 2024 NFL 2025 NFL draft. My bad. That's actually so casual there. NFL draft, interior defensive lineman prospect rankings. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Comments down the section below. Again, what you think about these rankings. And yeah, I guess give it a A, B, D, C, or D, or whatever. I don't even know. Pre-free agency mock draft is coming out soon, though.
Carr from the shotgun. Throws, end zone. Touchdown, Jared Cook. Just had the feeling it was going to be Jared Cook who came up with the big play. They love to isolate him on the backside of 3x1s. That's what most offenses do with good receiving tight ends. It's not man-to-man, it's zone coverage. And Demarius Randall is just way too late to make that play.